The Scottish Civic Trust is the national body representing the civic movement in Scotland. We are committed to bringing together civic groups, professional bodies and the general public through a love and appreciation for the built environment. We work to celebrate place and architecture through our projects like Doors Open Days and the My Place Awards, and we support the development of community heritage projects with local civic groups.
You getting a good photo?
Yeah.
I wanted to get my class involved in this project because I think it's so valuable to give the children a wide variety of experiences, expose them to a wide variety of knowledge that they can develop and use throughout their life, because architecture surrounds us all day, every day. Heritage is there around us, but do we stop to observe and look at it? There are so many different avenues you can go down with this, and it's a wonderful opportunity for outdoor learning with plenty of time to go outside and explore your school and the local area.
The project was created by the Scottish Civic Trust and it's a Heritage Lottery funded project that runs for 2 years. It works closely with children in school settings and teachers to develop workshops, activities that are looking at the built environment, heritage, architecture, places and spaces around us. So it's really about trying to energise young people into a more critical thinking about the built environment, but also a real love and an appreciation for where they live. With Westcoats Primary School, we went on an architectural walking tour, which was fantastic. It was a really cold day. It was bonfire nights. It was the 5th of November. But everybody went out in good spirits and took lots of amazing photographs, and there was loads of discussion about architectural styles and when things were built and what the buildings were used for and how people regarded the buildings today.
I am a class teacher in Westcoats Primary in Cambuslang, and I currently teach Primary 6. There are 32 children in my class this year. I met up with Rachel, who is the project leader, and we initially had a discussion and a walk around the local area to look at the potential of the heritage and architecture in Cambuslang. On the first day we began with a getting to know you activity, and we discussed our expectations and what we hope to learn from the project with the children. We talked about rules and ensuring we gave each other space as part of this project, and knowing what we expected behaviour-wise and what we hope to learn from it.
I would say it's wobbling. Wait, first I think we should...
After that, we took part in a wordplay activity, and this looked at different styles of architecture that we might find in our local area and around Scotland, and introduced different types of architecture and vocabulary related to this to the children. This was an interesting activity because it promoted a lot of discussion, and there was dissension within the group, but that was good because then it caused more discussion and we could talk about why people felt different ways about things. Having done that, we then moved on to look at the technology we would be using over the next 2 days, which was the cameras, and we looked at both digital SLR cameras and smaller compact cameras, and we discussed how we could use those and the different features and aspects that the children might use. This became very useful because we then went out on a treasure hunt in our playground, and this allowed the children opportunities to work in groups or individually, looking at their playground in a different way, choosing different viewpoints, perhaps lying down on the ground or standing up somewhere high looking down on something, or getting really close to something they maybe hadn't noticed before. And we then took those images back inside and reviewed them at the end of day 1. On our second day, we were familiar with the equipment by this point, and we reviewed and talked about the architecture we'd learned and the vocabulary that we knew about that we hadn't known before. And then we took the opportunity to take a walking tour around our local area, past buildings and places that the children pass potentially most days, but maybe in a car rather than on foot, and hadn't stopped to consider the features of them. And therefore we were able to look more closely at the architectural details, and because we had cameras to focus in our observations, we were able to use that to look at the details of the building and consider aspects of them we hadn't noticed before, whether it be ornamental drain pipes, stone carvings, dates in the building they hadn't seen, And in one case, it was a crow-step gable, which we'd talked about the previous day, and we were able to find a Scottish baronial building in our own local area, which was quite surprising and interesting for the children, and they loved that. After we returned to the school, we were able to review our photographs together and talk about what had worked and what hadn't worked, and perhaps why certain angles were more successful in the photography than others. And then we were able to go to our computer suite and edit our photographs, looking at cropping and colouring the photographs in a different way to give us a different viewpoint.
A lot of the photographs will be kept and studied by the young people themselves, and they'll edit them. But we do have the My Place photography competition, which is an opportunity for children of the same age, 5 to 18, to enter their photographs to a national competition. So it's a fantastic opportunity. All the photographic entries are exhibited, so we're planning that exhibition just now.
As a result of all this hard work that we'd done, we were then able to use our images to enter the My Place photography competition, which is a valuable way of showcasing the children's work and sharing their talents on the website so that other people can see what they've been up to, whether it be friends, parents, grandparents, and they can share their different look at their local community. The project is such a valuable asset to the school because it embodies so much of the curriculum for excellence. There's so much outdoor learning you can do. It gives you variety and it allows you to use the children's knowledge as a springboard to where you want to go next, and you can take it in all sorts of different directions. So some of the children really enjoyed the wordplay activities and finding out about new architectural terms they didn't understand or know about before. Other children, the photography was the main focus for them, and learning the skill of photography and being able to view their world through a different viewpoint and seeing their local area through a lens rather than walking past it day by day. The discussion activities are good for those people who enjoy talking about their learning, but we also had opportunities for writing because we could recount our activity. You could write a blog, you would be able to share the information at an assembly at a later date if you wished with the rest of the school and present your work. Also, it gives the opportunity for those who are IT savvy or computer savvy to share their learning with the rest of the class and shine in a different light from somebody who's good at sport or good at drawing. They can still paint a picture but with a camera, and I think that's a very valuable experience for the children. They've learned a lot about teamwork, and they've also learned new computing skills, how to edit photographs, how to crop them, and they have a new vocabulary which, without looking at architecture and considering the design of a building, the age of a building, and the different features that they may never have known about these words. So to me, we've introduced them to a whole new vocabulary and set of skills that they didn't have before. In some cases, you may well find you've encouraged a photographer of the future because they've learned some new skills that may never have had the chance to do if it hadn't been for the project.
In year one, we were doing pilot projects across South Lanarkshire, so that's involved going into schools, working closely with teachers and delivering the workshops on site at schools. In year two, we're hoping to build on those experiences and develop lots of great resources. All of the photographs, all the resources that I've mentioned, learning activity guides, feedback, photographs are all going to be hosted on a fabulous new website called the My Place Photography website.
Well, the project was basically about the architecture and all the buildings and how they were built and who built these and who built that. Best part of the whole project was, I have to say, when we walked around the Cambuslang, because even though it was cold and I had to put your gloves on, I found that bit was fun, and you had to walk around it was the Trinity Church. We went into the St Bride's Church and the Baptist Church and Cambuslang Institute, and also the day before we had a little shot of the cameras outside. Yeah. So they were the two best bits of the project.
To find out more about the My Place Photography Learning Project and associated competition, please go to www.scottishcivictrust.org.uk.